So before, oh, excuse me, I should have known that as soon as I started again that this shit would happen. Hang on one second. Hey guys, I'm back. Get this. It is June 27th, 2013. And I want you to know that recently I made one of the biggest mistakes of my life. Well, possibly one of the biggest mistakes of my life. I decided that I was going to put an ad on Craigslist to find a man. Honey, I woke up the next morning. I just ignored the fact that I had even done it. I woke up the next morning to over 300 emails. And let me tell you what, it took all day yesterday for me to go through all of those emails and respond. And of course, when you respond back to some of them, the people are going to want to hold a conversation over email. I met this one guy a few days ago that I had met on Craigslist. He was sexy. There was a serious problem though. He chewed tobacco. And when I say chew tobacco, I mean it was like chain smoking. Only chewing it. At any rate, the entire night, I had friends over here. And this guy comes over and we decided to start drinking. So, me having just met this person, of course I'm not going to drink too much. So I tried to pace myself, which I did quite well. At any rate, this fool drinks half of a beer and is all over me in front of my friends. He got to the point that when he had finished his beer, he decided that he was going to sit by the fire pit with us and whip out his dick and ask me to sit on it. Perfectly fine. Had my friends not been here, I would have been more than happy to do so because he was sexy. Whatever. So anyhow, he keeps snatching a hold of my arm and trying to drag me into the house away from these people who are my friends, longtime friends, so that he can have sex with me. Eventually, to shut him up, I bring him in the house, or let him drag me into the house, I suppose, and we start going at it. And this fool is hung like a motherfucking horse. I am not joking. So, I was like, you're going to have to take it easy. I've not had sex in a while, so let's, like, take things easy. So he starts getting just fucking crazy. And I mean crazy. Well, at any rate, once I loosen up a little bit, I start getting crazy. And this motherfucker cannot handle it. I start thrashing around like a tiger shark on a fisherman's hook. And I'm like, oh, so suddenly you can't handle it, baby? What the fuck's your problem, man? You wanted to go crazy at first, so now that I'm going crazy, you can't take it? Are you serious, man? And he starts cussing me and like, you can't move. I said, I'm not just going to fucking lay here. Sex is no fun whenever you're just laying there. I'm not going to do that. Honey, if you can't participate, you should have never asked me to have sex to begin with. So here's a tip for you guys out there who think that you can do stupid shit like that. You better know what kind of wildcat or cougar or crazy ass woman you're sleeping with before you decide to start snatching a hold of her and trying to drag her around and you act like you're all big and bad and want to fuck her real good. You need to figure out beforehand, this is why women don't just sleep around. Because this fool could not even handle me after he talked all this shit. And he lasted longer with his crazy act than I had the opportunity to do because he jumped right off of me. As soon as I started going crazy and started participating in the sex and being like, baby, fuck it harder, give it to me, daddy, you know, and started riding his cock and he had no control whatsoever, he couldn't handle it. So, pointer for you guys, you need to figure out what the fuck kind of grave you're digging for yourself before you dig it, as far as sexual
Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted by that phone call that just occurred, I was talking about posting an ad on Craigslist, and it being the biggest mistake, or possibly the best mistake of my life. Not yet have I met any man that I would want to go out with, but a whole lot, a group of sexy motherfuckers have responded. So, of course, we're back and forth, this, that, and the other, and they want to come hang out this weekend, so I've scheduled, like, numerous amounts of them to do so, because half the time, from what I've noticed, even though I have never posted an ad on Craigslist like this before, men have a tendency to not show up, or to get cold feet and back out. So I've scheduled for a group of them to come over here, and I'm certain that about 80% of them will back out, and the other ones I will just juggle for the entire weekend. At any rate, I'm telling you what, when I post an ad of any kind on any site or any newspaper, it is very clear, it is very direct, like my personality. Like I said before about the roommate situation. When I post a roommate ad, or I'm trying to rent my house, and you call me with these ridiculous and flippant questions, and I have posted everything about the property that you could possibly want to know. If you are not going to take the time to read over that, that is your fucking problem, not mine. I'm not going to answer those questions over the phone. I do not have the patience for it. I do not have the time for it. If you're not any more thorough than that, then you're not going to be thorough enough to pay your rent in a timely manner. So anyway, I paste this ad on Craigslist to find a man, and it would shock the shit out of you about how many men respond after I have posted on there. If you do not have a photograph in your first email, it will be deleted without even being read. I have guys write to me who think that they're above that. Honey, your email is deleted instantly. I'm not fucking around. That means if I say send a picture, send your location, send your age in your first email to me, and you do not do it, no amount of begging that you do, or text me and I will send you a photograph, or I don't send out photographs of my face at first. You know what? Don't fucking contact me then. It's that simple. If you cannot follow the rules and regulations that I have set forth when you're first contacting me, then don't fucking contact me whatsoever. Like I said before in a previous episode, when I say no, I mean no. There are no ifs, ands, there are no buts, there are no maybes about it. When I say something, I fucking mean it. I'm going to tell you what. I met this guy the other day. He was not from Craigslist. He was from another site, Meet Me, that I'm on. He was fucking amazing. Amazing. Filipino. Great, great, great person. And we sat out by the fire pit, drank a few beer, smoked a few cigarettes, and the time came that I wanted to go to sleep. So I told him, I was like, you know what, I'm getting addicted to you way too quickly. I don't like it. It's uncomfortable for me to do that. So why don't you go home and contact me in a couple of days? He was like, well, I feel the same way. You know, I'm totally into you, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. Right. No, we did have a great time together, and I honestly believed that what he was saying was true. So the next day, he's like, of course he spends the night. Nothing happens whatsoever. He's just like, I'm tired, I want to go to sleep. I don't want to have to drive home because I'm drunk. Even though he only lives like 2 miles down the fucking road. I was like, okay, whatever, just go to sleep and shut up. He spends the night. The next morning we get up, go to the store for provisions. He asks that I buy him fuel because he doesn't get paid until later that day. Of course, I was happy to do it. He provided the beer the night before, so no big issue. Well, he leaves, and the next thing that I notice is that the next day he was supposed to come over and spend more time with me because we had decided that we kind of wanted to start talking. That's what we had decided. Apparently in his mind he had something different planned. He never shows up. I get on Meet Me to write a message to him, and his profile is straight fucking gone. So I call his phone. Wouldn't pick up the phone. I texted him. Wouldn't pick up the phone. Okay, end of story. It's that simple. I'm not fucking around with this melodrama. He was a great guy. He would have made a great boyfriend. But once he left, story over. Simply because he wants to play games. And I fucking despise games. I'm not playing them. So, sayonara.